make all the demons quiet. Yeah, we were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet. Yeah, we were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, it's too late to try to go contain it. A generation fueled by creation. We live lives on a small screen nation. We control the airwaves, no negotiation. I refuse to think we need saving. Something good will come from creation. And when we think that the world is too anxious, we'll adapt, evolve, survive and save it. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Yeah, we ran out of patience. Boil up with the cold hard hatred. I can feel the vibration. Feet in the streets, it's a new sensation. I wanna break faces on the pavement. I wanna make greatness look complacent. Adrenaline awakened, I can taste it. We can make an impact, grab and then take it. Like a disease, bring them to their knees. No pain for their disease. Breathe just like a wind, spread into the streets. It's time to make them bleed. 'Cause we just want retribution. Let's go light up the darkness. Make true of an empty promise. Flip cards into weak and harmless. Take to the streets and turn them to a mosh pit. 'Cause we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution.
Hey und willkommen zurück. Ich bin Jacke oder auch The Day of Jackets. Oh, Jacke. Und ich weiß noch nicht mal meinen Namen, siehst du? Willkommen zurück bei der Iron Flag Kampagne in der zweiten Mission. Ich bin wieder in Nevada in meiner A10. Ich werde mal eben kurz mein VR zurücksetzen. So. Ist auch alles schön zentriert. Ich habe heute mal meinen Chat dabei, falls ihr mir was erzählen wollt. Ich gucke hin und wieder da mal drauf, mal schauen, wie es so läuft. Das ist das erste Mal, dass ich das den jetzt da so integriert habe. Ansonsten würde ich sagen, legen wir direkt mal los in die Mission 2 der Iron Flag Kampagne. Wir sind, wie gesagt, wieder in Nevada, in Nellis, um genau zu sein, Nellis Air Force Base. Wir sind Biff. Nee, stimmt nicht. Wir sind Kermit. Wir sind, unser Name ist Justin Armstrong, Captain seines Zeichens. In dem Fall, unser Callsign für heute ist Devil 11. Wir sind der Trainee innerhalb dieses Setups. Unser Flight Lead ist wieder Ian Biff Morgan, der uns als Flight Lead und Instructor Pilot durch dieses Training begleiten wird. Heute geht es darum, ganz grundsätzlich nochmal wieder die Unterschiede zwischen dem A10C-Modell herauszustellen, da unser Pilot ein ehemaliger A-Pilot, Alpha-Pilot der A10 ist und wir jetzt auf das C-Modell umsatteln. Wir werden uns heute vorrangig der Navigation widmen. Wir werden einen Überblick über die CDU bekommen. Das ist das schöne Teil hier auf der rechten Seite. Ich habe noch was vergessen, merke ich gerade. Was ich noch schnell anmachen muss. So geht's. Einmal nochmal kurz Reset. So. Dann kann ich mich nämlich auch vernünftig umdrehen und muss mir nicht den Hals wieder verrenken. Er wird uns den Autopiloten offensichtlich nahe bringen. Das hat ein bisschen erklären. AAP und TED. AAP, werden wir mal sehen, was AAP ist. Ich kenne das Akronym gerade nicht genau, was das bedeuten soll. Auf jeden Fall, heute geht es um wie viel Uhr ist es? Ich hatte es doch eigentlich schon mal irgendwo gelesen. Ja. Ich glaube, es ist noch relativ früh am Morgen. Ich sehe gerade meine Uhrzeit nicht, da die noch nicht hier zu lesen ist. Doch, da, wir haben es nicht morgens, wir haben es um 17:15 Uhr nachmittags. Und wir werden jetzt den Cold Start vollziehen. Dann geht es darum, dass wir eine kleinere Route fliegen. Diese Route ist ein bisschen größer als letztes Mal. Wir starten hier unten in Nellis. Ich kann mal ein kleines bisschen reinzoomen. Geht das? Na? Geht gar nicht. Normalerweise kann man doch in den Bildern hier reinzoomen. Geht das heute nicht? Na gut. Okay, also hier unten Nellis Air Force Base. Dann fliegen wir zu Waypoint 1. Moab könnte das durchaus sein. Dann geht es Richtung Waypoint 3, Richtung Lincoln Country, rechts, oder besser gesagt, was ist das dann? Östlich von Lincoln Country. Wir fliegen an Lincoln Country vorbei, nördlich davon Waypoint. Ich erzähle völliger Blödsinn. Waypoint 1, wir fliegen nach Westen Richtung Groom Lake Air Force Base, Waypoint 2, um dann Richtung Lincoln Country abzubiegen. Von Waypoint 3 geht's wieder zurück über Waypoint 4 und 5 zurück nach Nellis Air Force Base. So, genug geschwafelt. Wir gucken noch einmal ganz kurz in das Briefing rein, was wir machen sollen, beziehungsweise was das Objective ist. Genau, hatte ich eigentlich schon gesagt, Objective ist, genau, einfach lernen, wie das Navigationssystem funktioniert und so ein paar andere Sachen. QNH können wir uns gleich mal merken, 2953. Das macht durchaus Sinn, sich das gleich zu merken. Und den Rest, denke ich, sehen wir gleich im Cockpit. So. Okay, wir schalten erstmal wieder unsere Batterie an und den Inverter. Ich hatte gerade noch die APU auf der anderen Seite an. Die machen wir natürlich aus. Da drüben kommt ein Blackhawk, wenn ich mich nicht täusche. Genau, Blackhawk fliegt da drüben lang. So. Inverter on, Battery on. Und dann machen wir erstmal unsere Funke an. Ich klicke einfach gleich die beiden anderen Sachen auch an. Und dann hören wir mal.
2, this is 1. Radio check on uniform. How copy?
Was befehlen.
Awesome, let's get you up at
Wir gucken erstmal ganz kurz auf die Funkfrequenzen, die wir gegebenenfalls auch noch einstellen. So, Tune ATIS on UHF. ATIS ist wieder 270.1. 270.1.
Nellis Air Force Base Information Kilo, time 0115, wind 028 at 10, visibility greater than 10 miles, clear, temperature 26, dew point 13, altimeter 2959, runways in use 03 left, 21 left, expect visual approach, acknowledge receipt of information Kilo and advise aircraft type on first contact. Nellis Air Force Base Information Kilo, time 0115, wind 028 at 10, visibility greater than 10 miles, clear, temperature 26, dew point 13, altimeter 2959, runways in use 03 left, 21 left.
Achso, genau.
Expect visual
APU.
approach. Acknowledge receipt of information Kilo and advise aircraft type on first contact.
APU machen wir mal an.
Nellis Air Force Base Information
Und
Kilo,
BIF erreichen wir
time
auf
0115,
325.
wind 028 at 10, visibility greater than 10 miles, clear, temperature 26, dew point 13, altimeter 2959, runways in use 03 left, 21 left, expect visual approach. Acknowledge receipt of information Kilo and advise aircraft type on.
Wir gucken mal eben gerade, was auf den verschiedenen Frequenzen ist.
10 miles, clear, temperature 26, dew point 13, altimeter 2959, runways in use 03.
So, die stellen wir mal gleich direkt ein. 275.8, 275.8.
Be greater than 10 miles.
3277. 3. 277, ne? Genau. Auch gespeichert. Kanal 4, 291. 291, was? 725. Speichern. Und dann 3854. 38540. Sollten wir gespeichert haben. Und Blackjack, das müsste nämlich der Range Controller sein. Den setzen wir direkt auf die 6. 6? Genau. Und das ist 377.8. 377.8. Das ist Blackjack. Guard. Das können wir schon mal wieder zumachen. Ich guck gerade, wo hier Guard ist. Das sind Presets. Achso, Guard müsste eigentlich drin sein. Können vorne noch Guard einstellen. VHF Check. Können wir auch gleich mal 2, 4, 6. So. Soweit, so gut. Achso, aha. Ja, vielleicht sollten wir mal noch den Inverter, den Generator eigentlich anmachen. Und dann gucken wir mal.
This is 1. Radio check, Fox Mike. I get you 5x5 Kermit. Hey, while we're at it, let's see if Victor works fine. Push 124.6 and let me know once you're there. Pushing 124.6. And there. Ready.
Verbiff ein bisschen langsam. One, two. Da habe ich die.
Okay, double 2, radio check, Victor. Roger, read you Lima Charlie.
Die Emulation nicht richtig eingeschaltet.
Very good. Go ahead and finish your startup and hit me up when you're ready for taxi. Yeah, copy that.
So, dann. Eigentlich, das können wir uns, glaube ich, sparen. Wir machen einfach komplett unseren normalen Startup durch. Das heißt, mal kurz überlegen. Dadurch, dass ich es sonst in einem Fluss mache, bin ich gerade ein bisschen aus dem Konzept. Die Sachen sind alle soweit safe. Eigentlich brauchen wir jetzt nur linkes Triebwerk hoch. In der Zwischenzeit machen wir mal die MFDs an. Die Sachen können wir schon mal in Ruhe anmachen. CDU einschalten. Bisschen das Licht anmachen. Pitot Heat on. Das passt soweit. Load all. Warning können wir mal ausmachen eben gerade.
Pull up, pull up. Altitude, altitude.
Ich habe gerade das Gefühl, dass der nicht alles geladen hat. No failures found, das ist schon mal gut. Jetzt noch mal ganz kurz Unsinn. Dann können wir hier nochmal kurz schauen, ob wir noch irgendwas einstellen. Tapes wollen wir mal anmachen. Beziehungsweise stimmt nicht, Tapes lassen wir aus, aber den lassen wir an. Vertical Velocity lassen wir aus. IFF A-Lot können wir auslassen. Passt. Soweit, so gut. IFF haben wir beim letzten Mal gelernt, machen wir an. Wobei, was war das? 4.0.1.0 und am besten mal den auch auf Norm stellen. So. Passt. Anti-Skid an. SRS an. Test sparen wir uns. Take-off-Trim. Kurz mal Flaps. Passt auch. Zwischenzeit können wir eigentlich auch die APU ausmachen. Eines ist ready. So. Notes. Okay. Wir haben keine Bewaffnung dran, wobei ich noch einmal das kurz den lade, weil die Meldung gerade noch da war. Jetzt passt auch das. Okay, ab ins Stats. Kurz noch alles checken. Warum ist der EX nicht an? So, dann gucken wir nochmal ganz kurz hier ins Alignment-System rein. Eigentlich sind wir aligned. Ne, sind wir nicht. Oh, stand da allein. So. Gucken wir gerade, dass wir eventuell immer doch einen fixen Alignment machen. Irgendwas hat sich da nämlich gerade aufgehangen. Ja, warten wir einfach nochmal den Moment. Irgendwie sitzt heute gerade meine VR nicht so besonders. So, Chef stellen wir mal auf Charlie-Programm für Flares. Ach, den haben wir auch noch nicht gesetzt. Also setzen wir mal den auf die mittlere Position. TGP haben wir nicht dran. Also schalten wir noch nicht ein. Einmal Rundumcheck. Funkgeräte sind eingeschaltet. SES ist eingeschaltet. Pumpenstimmen, Lichter sind an. Können wir auf Taxi machen. Das stimmt soweit. Wobei wir... Können wir kurz noch mal hinhören.
Nellis Air Force Base Information Kilo. Time 0115. Wind 028 at 10. Visibility greater than 10 miles. Clear. Temperature 26. Dew point 13. Altimeter 2959. Runways in use 03 left. 21 left. Expect visual approach. Acknowledge receipt of information Kilo and advise aircraft type on first contact. Nellis Air Force Base Information Kilo. Time 0115. Wind 028 at 10. Visibility greater than 10 miles. Clear. Temperature 26. Dew point 13. Altimeter 2959. Runways in use 03 left. 21 left. Expect visual approach. Acknowledge receipt of information Kilo and advise aircraft type on first contact. Nellis Air Force Base Information Kilo. Time 0115. Wind.
So, wir schalten mal direkt auf Nellis Ground. Da werden wir nämlich gleich funken müssen. Nehme ich an. Jetzt, wie weit ist denn unser Alignment? Eine STRIX ready. Na dann. Ich nehme an, ich hätte einfach auch jetzt nochmal warten sollen. Den machen wir jetzt einfach jetzt schon an. Das passt.
2, 1 is ready for taxi. Copy. Let me contact ground and let them know we're good to go. Raj. No ground, Devil. Go for ground, Devil. Double 1 flight is 2 A10C II Thunder, ready for taxi with Kilo. Devil 1, taxi Charlie, Golf, Alpha, hold short, 03 left, cleared to cross, 03 right. Taxi Charlie, Golf, Alpha, cleared to cross, 03 right, and hold short, 03 left, Devil 1.
Das ist das Übliche wieder. Charlie
Right,
Golf.
Kermit, you're going to lead this one again. You're going to be doing a lot of navigation stuff on this sortie, so I'm going to sit conveniently behind you and just watch how you're doing. Cool?
Cool.
Roger that. Great, go ahead and taxi to the active as instructed, and I'll follow you out. Solid copy. One, taxi out.
Ich habe mir eben auf den Ding hier um. So sehen, dass wir nicht zu schnell werden. Wir hier an die Kollegen links und rechts achten. So. Ist ja immer eine Herausforderung, eine neue Mission. Man weiß noch nicht genau, was passiert. Ich weiß zumindest, dass, glaube ich, nicht viel Action passieren wird. Das ist tatsächlich eine reine Trainingskampagne. Wenn Waffen abgefeuert werden, dann nur zu Trainingszwecken. Nur hier in der Wüste. Und Gegner wird es hier, glaube ich, aller Voraussicht nach, vor allem auch in den ersten paar Missionen auf keinen Fall welche geben und wenn dann nur simulierte, ich schätze Bodenziele, vielleicht mal Luftziele. Ich hatte was gelesen von, dass auch jedenfalls Grundlagen des Luftkampfes in der A10 unterrichtet werden in dieser Kampagne. Bin ein bisschen zu schnell, aber ich denke, das sollte passen.
Ground, Devil 3 flight, 2 A10s at Thunder, ready for taxi, Kilo.
Warum ist...
Devil 3, ground, taxi Charlie, Golf, Alpha, cross 0
Schon wieder?
right, hold short, 03 left. Ground, taxi Charlie, Golf, Alpha, cross 03 Romeo, hold short 03 Lima, Devil 3.
Da bin ich wohl noch durch irgendeinen kleinen Trigger gerade gefahren, dass er das nochmal wiederholt hat. Er hat ja gesagt beim letzten Mal nicht schneller als 15 Knoten Ground Speed. Sehen wir jetzt hier unten rechts nochmal, haben wir jetzt 14 Knoten, kann gerade noch ein kleines bisschen schneller werden wieder.
Looks like those Eagles are getting ready for a pretty big mission.
Ja.
Yep. I assume if we go back to the Persian Gulf, the Eagles are going to be one of the first aircraft in, right behind Seed after they clear a path. More than likely, they're going to be hitting command center, staging areas, and supply lines.
Bin ich ganz
Just like they did in Iraq. But if I remember correctly, back then they were just entering service. They didn't even have targeting pods installed on all the jets. They dropped a lot of Mark 82s under a constant hail of enemy AAA. I've read a few books, and everyone was amazed about the sheer volume of what Saddam had on the ground.
Yeah, it was a trial by fire for the S-15E and her crews. Some of their missions were pretty hairy, others weren't so bad. This time will be different, though, if we go back to that side of the world. Both sides will be using a lot more precision-guided munitions like paveways and J-dams. That is, until it's safe enough to get low and dirty with the gun. Conflict like this, our enemy is going to be better equipped and prepared, unlike what we're seeing in OEF and OIF.
Raj, so much for the you don't need the oxygen mask part.
Ja, genau.
Devil 1-2, contact tower at 327.7. Roger, contact tower at 327.7. Okay, we're coming up to Alpha, push 327.7, past 03 to right, stop short of 03 to left at the hold line, and let me know when you're ready for takeoff. I'll contact tower.
So, Tower Frequency ist drin. Lining up. Ach, der ist ja wirklich noch sehr weit hinten, der Kollege. Nicht mal wieder ein bisschen zu schnell unterwegs gewesen wahrscheinlich. Ja, diesmal holding short runway left. 03 left, nicht right. Das heißt, diesmal hier noch drüber fahren. Kurz links und rechts checken. Kein Traffic. Und dann können wir. Und holding short. Oder warte mal, na, das ist nicht mein Holding Shot, oder? Kurz mal gucken. Ah, da vorne dürfte noch eine Linie sein. Das dürfte die Holding Short von der anderen Seite sein. Ja, genau, hier kommt er. Hier kommt die entsprechende Linie. Stop before the hold line. Ja, machen wir. Stopping right here. Make sure you're on correct frequency. Press spacebar. Yes.
1, holding short, 03 left, and up on tower.
Dallas Tower, double 1 flight, holding short, 403 left, ready for departure. Double 1 Nellis Tower, wings are 028 for 10, cleared for takeoff runway 03 left. Please expedite your departure. Cleared for takeoff runway 03 left, and we'll hurry it up for you. Double 1. Alright, Kermit, go ahead, enter the active, and without stopping, get lined up and feed the power in and take off. Watch the instruments and reject the takeoff if you need to. I'll be a few seconds behind you.
Flaps half. Gleich mal kurz den Trim Reset drücken. Soweit alles passt. Okay. Dann Rolling Takeoff.
1 rolling.
1 Rolling. Genau.
Two's rolling.
1, 0.
Okay, maintain that 5-degree climb out and look for 180 knots.
Raj.
Kurz mal auf Indicated umschalten. Und dann werden wir uns mal Richtung Moab fliegen. Waypoint 1. So. Na.
Double 1 Nellis Tower, contact departure 385.4 Alpha Mike. Double 1 copies, contacting departure at 385.4 today. Okay, Kermit, push Nellis departure on uniform. I know it's a lot of jumping between different freaks. Perhaps we should go over using preset channels in one of the upcoming sorties. That sounds handy. Okay. Let me know when you have your uniform up on departure.
1 is ready. Departure is set on uniform.
Müsste zumindest die richtige sein.
Nellis departure, double 1 flight is with you over Apex, climbing for 10,000 feet. Double 1, Nellis departure, radar contact. Cleared to resume mode navigation. Cleared for own navigation, double 1. Alright, let's climb to Angel 10, speed up and maintain 220 indicated.
1, climbing to Angels 10 and maintaining 220 indicated.
Speeding up.
Alright, Kermit, on the way to Mofa, let's go over some of the differences between the Alpha and Charlie concerning your navigation systems and how you use them for,
Es ist mal.
wait for it, navigation. As you probably noticed, there are quite a few.
A-firm. The left panel looks similar, engine controls too. But almost everything else in the cockpit, including the stick, is different. It took quite some time in the sim to get a handle on that.
Yeah, about that stick, which is taken from the Viper, by the way. It's going to be imperative through the course of this training to learn HOTAS in such a way that when I say TMS up short, or pinky switch center, as I was, your fingers do what they need to do instinctively. So you're going to need to be very proficient in your switchology in the Charlie. The HOTAS is a force multiplier if you can use it without having to stop too much and think about what you need to do. If you have to think on every button press or where the boat switch is, you're going to get behind the jet. I asked during the briefing to include the schematics in your kneeboard for reference, so if you're unsure, just use that, okay?
Sehr
If
nice.
I need it, I'll flip over to it. So, where do we start on the nav?
Cool, and with that I'll get off my soapbox. Okay, back to the task at hand. We'll quickly go through the main instruments and panels used for navigation. So we'll start with the navigation mode select panel, or NMSP, then talk about the HSI, ADI, and then turn to the right console and talk about the auxiliary avionics panel, or AAP. We'll also cover the basics of the autopilot and HUD today and focus in a bit more on the details tomorrow. Ready?
I'm all ears.
Sounds like a plan.
Alright, so first the NMSP, which you'll find behind the aforementioned stick. Here you will choose the primary source used for your navigation. Your two sources are HARS, also known as Heading and Altitude Reference System, or the HIGI, the GPS INS navigation system. You can also quickly switch between the different points you will want to use as your destination or reference, such as steer point, anchor point, TACAN, or ILS. Good so far?
Yeah, we had something similar in the A10A.
Positiv. Hier ist
Okay, gotcha.
darüber
The
gesprochen.
HSI, or horizontal situation indicator, is located just above it, and I guess it didn't change that much. I'd say this is one of the most useful instruments, and it has lots of features that will make your life easier both during flying from point A to point B and during combat. We'll be returning to it in quite a few forthcoming sorties. Ready to move on?
A-firm. I saw quite a few new cool features in the sim.
Good, I'm sure you'll love them. Okay, moving back up, you'll find the ADI, or Attitude Directional Indicator. This is your artificial horizon and will be very useful for your ILS landing, amongst other things.
Raj.
On to the right console. Obviously, the most important piece of navigation equipment we have over here is going to be the CDU. It is one of the more advanced and complex pieces of equipment we have in the Charlie. Did you take the time and go through descriptions of all the pages and functions?
Yeah, I read all of it.
Really, no shit. Well, during a normal sort, you will be using less than 10% of it, but it's good that you did it, and you should do it at least once. There are true jewels hidden between all the bit and test pages, which we'll come back to that. Okay, so just below the CDU, you will find the AAP, where you will power up the CDU and HIGI. The two dials below are handy for quickly displaying CDU info about your steer point, waypoint, or current position, and for
Warning,
determining whether
autopilot.
you'll be
Shit.
using the waypoint database for your flight plan, mark points, or all of it. Take a look at these.
Okay,
Ach,
sounds easy enough.
und das ist, wenn man so einen blöden Touchpad dran hat.
Contact Blackjack at 377.8. Shit. Kermit, I've got this. Stand by. Roger, double one switching. Good day. See ya. Follow me over to 377.8 and I'll explain in a bit.
Ach, das ist ja eher ungünstig gerade. So.
Raj.
Blackjack, double one with you, south of Mopa, as frag. Sample 1, left text, random contact into the X-ray, and continuous on navigation. Enter through X-ray, double one. Sorry about that, I got all wrapped up in that CDU talk and didn't realize we were getting close to that turn for waypoint 2.
No problem. What's next?
Just go ahead and follow the flight plan and make that turn towards waypoint 2. Once you do that and are happy with your newfound knowledge, let me know and we'll move on with the training.
Ei, 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 ei. Ich weiß gar nicht, ob es ein First Alignment auch in der Luft gibt. Das ist jetzt das dritte Mal, dass ich alleine in dieser Mission. Peinlich, peinlich. Ach, das ist halt ein blödes Touchpad gewesen in dem Fall. So, jetzt müssen sie... Das Gute ist, dass die ausgetrimmt ist, die Maschine. Wir können mal kurz auf der Karte ein bisschen schmulen, wo es hingeht. Richtung 2. Wir müssen nach links Richtung... wo will er hin? 287 fliegen. Sollten wir hinbekommen. Einfach Instrument, Flight und dann geht das auch. Irgendwann hat sich das Ding wieder allein. So, kurz mal Karte checken. Ja. 2, 8. So, und das sieht doch ganz gut aus.
Two is ready to move on.
Yeah.
Good. Alright, let's start with the HARS, IGI, and NMFP. There is no point in discussing the first one. You should know it inside and out, as it is the main navigation tool on the A model.
Sorry, but I have to disagree here. The main navigation tool was effective employment of the clocked map ground skill, for which the INS is only a reference point. The drift was so high that without detailed maps of the terrain and careful study, we'd never be able to find our targets.
Shit, it was that bad then. Okay. Well, the bottom line is that the Charlie uses HARS only as a backup system. As stated in the Dash 1, the IGI navigation system is the aircraft's primary navigation system and provides an accurate, worldwide navigation capability. The IGI navigation system improves navigation accuracy by use of the IGI. This system provides attitude, navigation, and vertical and horizontal steering information. Or something like that.
Sounds like you're reading straight from the Dash 1. But yeah, we have something similar in the A319.
Right, of course you do. Oh, hey, by the way, during startup tomorrow, please remind me to tell you a little bit more about the different modes you can use for alignment. This is something important during the QRAs, which may be handy if you find yourself at this alert either in the AOR.
Raj, I'll try, but you may have to remind me to remind you.
Okay, sounds fair. Now on to the NMFP. Think of our 4 lower buttons as a way to tell your jet which reference you should be using for navigation. The most obvious and most commonly used one would be the steer point button, which you'll find as the first one on the left. When selected, the button will have an illuminated green triangle, and the thick arrow on the HSI will be pointing towards your currently selected steer point, and the CDI will show your deviation from the chosen course. You good so far?
Ja, grundsätzlich ja.
Yeah, easy peasy.
Alright, the next one is your anchor point button. Again, when selected, you'll see the green illuminated triangle. The anchor point, which most commonly is going to be bullseye, will be used as a reference for your navigation, making it the current steer point. Remember, you can set any waypoint or march point as the anchor. Any questions?
Ja, was sollte mal...
Yeah, why would I want to change anchor point from bullseye to another waypoint?
Imagine you're working with ground troops and you want to be able to quickly locate targets called by them. You may want to set their position as an anchor point. Or you're working with assets from other countries that don't normally use MGRS sources. Say, for example, some French jets or maybe helicopters. Then you want to choose a waypoint that is common for both of you as the anchor point. You want more examples?
Nope, we can move on.
Okay, the following two buttons are mutually exclusive as they both use the CDI and range indicator on the HSI. The first one will make the thin bearing needle, also known as the bearing pointer 1, point to the TACAN station that you have tuned into on the TACAN panel. The second one will show you the glide slope information for the ILS localizer on the ADI.
Okay.
Alright, let's tune our TACAN into Groom Lake at this time, so using the channel select knobs for the TACAN, now choose 1/8 X-ray. After you have done that, go ahead and check how pressing the TACAN button will change the way in which your HSI and HUD behave. There is no point doing the same for ILS as we're too far away from any airport, but once you're good to go, press the steer point button again, and let me know when we can move on.
Ich habe so ein bisschen das Gefühl, dass ich hier komplett falsch fliege gerade, weil es ist doch aber auch nicht die... So witzig. Eigentlich hatten wir doch... Ach doch, nee, richtig, war Lincoln, Groom Lake, ja, doch, doch. Ja, da ist Takan. Takanade ist zwar auch nicht ganz richtig. Ja, ich muss gerade ein paar Sachen gleichzeitig hier machen. F10. Ready to move on.
Alright, I'm ready.
bar switch. It's in the middle of the panel, and this will stow or enable the yellow pitch bank steering bars and the course warning flag on the ADI. There are also two lights on the right of the panel. They are for indicating the activation of the UHF and FM radio's homing function, respectively. These features make your radios an additional source of navigation by homing in on the signal transmitted on whatever frequency you have dialed in. This is a handy feature which is most commonly used during CSAR missions. Anything else on the NMS piece, or can we move on?
Move on.
Yeah, what about the Tizzle button?
Shit, forgot about that one. So Tizzle, well, we don't use it anymore.
Raj?
Another thing which I should have mentioned earlier.
Are you fucking kidding me?
A waypoint and a steer point. So the CDU can store up to 2,050 waypoints, but unless one of them is selected as your steer point, no steering or navigational data will be displayed in your HUD, TAD, or HSI. So in a nutshell, the steer point is the waypoint or mark point you currently have selected, making it your destination. Make sense?
Absolutely.
Right on. Okay, another new feature for the Charlie is autopilot. Actually, we should have covered it in the beginning, as it's very handy for you to fly straight and check all your instruments as I described them, but it seems you've already figured it out.
Nein,
Actually,
fliegt
we had
ganz.
it on the Alpha.
What?
The autopilot. Last he was introduced on the later versions of the A10A.
Roger. Anyhow, it's on my list, so we need to go through it. So fireworks here, it's as simple as it gets. The autopilot switch is located just below the throttle set on the LACI control panel and has three basic functions that will enable you to keep your current altitude, heading, or both. Let's go through the autopilot's three functions one by one. Ready?
Can't wait.
So starting with the basic mode, which you're going to find pretty useful for cruising, we need to make sure that we're flying straight and level or pretty near it. Then we'll put the autopilot switch in the middle position marked ALT-HDG for altitude and heading hold, and press the button marked engage and disengage located just to the left of it. You can also use the button on the left throttle, and one last thing before I forget, you should make sure that the jet is pretty well trimmed out before you set the autopilot. If you're too far out of trim, it will make the autopilot disco, which is a bit annoying. And with that, go ahead and engage the autopilot and let me know once you got her on.
It's on.
Autopilot is
I'm not touching anything right now. Das ist echt nervig heute Quizzen.
The autopilot is on the left side of the HUD, and you should get the chime in the helmet indicating that your autopilot is engaged. So it is useful for cruising, especially if you fly in the lead position or are in route formation. It should go without saying, but never use any autopilot mode when flying in close formation as a wingman. Great. On to the second mode. Place the autopilot switch in the forward position marked path.
Yep, nothing happened.
done.
Cool. Notice that the autopilot has not reacted to being put into path hold. Flipping the mode switch while keeping the autopilot engaged does nothing. It will stay in whatever mode the switch was in when you engaged it. Now disengage the autopilot by pressing either button. After that, while keeping your wings level, pitch your nose up and give me a 5-degree climb. Once we're in that climb, re-engage the autopilot.
Five-degree climb. Re-engage. And
Okay, done that. 5-degree climb and autopilot is back on.
there you go.
Good. This mode will hold the desired path or heading while allowing you to put the aircraft into a climb or descent. Path hold will not hold bank and does not like roll, so always make sure that the aircraft is well trimmed. Okay, let me know when you want to move on to the third and final mode.
2 is ready.
Right on. This time we're going to force the autopilot to disengage without hitting any buttons. I want you to gently but firmly push the nose over, and you should feel the autopilot try to right the aircraft initially, then it gives up and takes off. Do that now.
Warning, autopilot.
Okay, it disconnected.
Perfect. So as you can see, you can add in small, minute manual control inputs while autopilot is engaged. But anything much more than that, the autopilot will just go. Now this is handy if you need to make quick, split-second reactionary maneuvers. Then you don't have to think about and take the time to hit a button to disconnect the autopilot.
Huh, imagine that.
Sweet. To get back to and trim for level flight, push the autopilot switch in the aft position marked ALT and enter a 15-degree left turn. Retrim and then turn the autopilot back on and let me know when that's done.
Warte mal. 15. Upsa.
Yeah, done.
Cool. It's a very useful mode for when you want to prepare for an attack, scan the area, or when you just need to anchor. Your plane will hold a set altitude and bank angle, which will allow you to direct a bit of your attention onto other things, like searching for and sorting targets in CGP, working on CDU stuff and things, or a myriad of other tasks.
Certainly is useful, but compared to the A319, it's pretty primitive. With the 319, we've got 4 layers of autopilot, auto thrust, and computer-controlled flight modes.
I heard about that, yeah? What we have on the Hog's really simple, but it does its job. Now to finish this part, onto the restrictions. In order to engage the autopilot, you need to have the EH switch system on. That has to be engaged. IFC needs to be in the test or on position, and the IGI must be fully aligned and selected.
Ja, habe ich auch gerade gemerkt.
Okay, got that.
Sweet. I think using the autopilot is pretty straightforward. Okay, turn back towards waypoint 2. Practice a bit using the different modes and let me know when you're ready to move on.
Okay, 2 is good to go.
Okay, on the front dash you'll find the HSI. The HSI is a very useful, if not the most useful, navigation instrument. It is located in exactly the same spot it was in the A model, on the center dash and just below the ADI. If you're reading through the manual, you probably saw a huge number of different functions and pointers described there. It's all crammed in that little small space, but trust me, sooner or later you will use all of them. Okay, ready?
Let's get to it.
Okay, HSI is next.
Alright, starting from the center you will see a static white aircraft symbol there. This is very important to note that all of the indications are relative to this symbol. The outer ring of the HSI is where you'll find the rotating compass card with the top of the compass showing your magnetic heading. Additionally, you'll notice a thin lever line extending straight up and back down from the aircraft symbol. Finally, on the outside of the compass card you have 2 pointers, one thin and long and the other one short and thick. The longer, thinner one is labeled as 1 and the shorter, thicker one is 2. You can see the markings on the pointy end. Still with me?
Ah ja.
Yep, go on.
Okay, just checking. I know this is a lot and it's pretty dry. Alright, back to it. So the shorter one always points to the currently selected steer point. The longer one will point towards the selected TACAN or UHF station. Now both needles are stowed together if you have neither of these set. Don't turn your plane just yet, but cycle to waypoint 3 please. You can do that by making your HUD soy and pressing DMS up once, or using the steer point rocker switch on your upfront controller or the UFC. Once you've done that, observe the movement of the stick arrows and switch to waypoint 4, and finally go back to 3. Let me know when you've done that.
It behaves in a similar manner as it did on the A model.
Yeah, it's pretty standard, but it really shines when you use it in combination with the CDU. Before we move on, let's turn towards waypoint 3 before we get to Canada, eh?
Devil 1's on the new course. Ready to continue.
Warning, autopilot.
You'll see that the bearing needle points directly towards waypoint 3. However, the middle part of the arrow is way to the left. This is a course deviation indicator, which tells you how closely you are following the desired course. Since we turned long before reaching waypoint 2, we are left of the desired flight path, hence the CDI is to the right from the bearing needle. Don't worry about it too much, as we'll cover it in detail tomorrow. Actually, it may be that your CDI is all the way to the right. If that's the case, just switch your waypoint back to 2 and then return to waypoint 3. Now the CDI should be on the correct side. This is all connected with the waypoint attributes, and as I've said, this is for tomorrow's training. Where was I? Yes. The 2 dots to the left and the right are used to show you how far away from the desired course you currently are, and the scale can be set in the waypoint attributes. Now on to the 2 knobs below the HSI. The left one is called the heading set knob, and it moves the heading marker around the compass. The marker looks like 2 closely set white squares. You can use it to mark a number of things like the wind direction or desired attack heading. It's not connected to any other instruments and has to be set manually. Go ahead and check it now and let me know when you're ready to move on.
Ja, irre.
This seems quite handy. The second knob is the course set knob, right?
Correct. It allows you to set the selected course in the window on the top right and move the course arrow around the compass card. You'll want to use it when setting up for landing or if you want to arrive at a specific waypoint coming from a certain direction, which we will cover and talk about when we get to the waypoint attributes.
Copy that. And the numeric window on the top left is the range indicator.
Firm given in nautical miles. So the last thing we need to cover here are the 2 small triangles just next to the aircraft symbol and along the intended course line. They indicate the course the aircraft will fly to or away from the selected TACAN station or steer point. Ready for the next part?
Yes, 2 is good to go.
Alright, man. Now that we've got some of the things up front figured out, let's move over to the right console and dip into the CDU, starting with the AAP panel, which controls it.
Sounds good.
Alright, so let's move over to the AAP panel now, which you're going to find just below the CDU. We'll start with the knob on the right, known as the page select dial. By default, it should be set to the other position, which enables data input into the CDU, while the other 3 positions are for read only. These selections will allow minor changes to what is displayed, but you would be unable to edit anything. So the important thing to remember here is, if you want to change any waypoint settings or attributes, this knob has to be in the other position. Copy?
Copy.
Yep. Other for display and the rest is for data editing. Got it.
Whoa, let's back it up there, high speed. Other is for editing, and all the remaining selections are for display.
Yeah.
Had it backwards.
Other way around.
Sorry about that. I copied all, but my mouth is quicker than my brain sometimes.
Well, so long as we got it now. Okay, so now let's go ahead and check the position and steer settings using the page select rotary dial. In the position setting, you'll see a lot of useful information displayed on the CDU and CDU repeater if you have it pulled up on an MFCD.
Yep.
Position will display your current location in both lat long and MGRS, your speed, magnetic variation, altitude, and outside air temperature. You can cycle between indicated true and ground speed here, as well as Celsius and Fahrenheit for the temperature. Any questions at this stage?
Nope. Ask about difference between indication airspeed, ground speed, and true speed. No, ask about explanation of magnetic variations. Say that you don't have any questions and can move on. Actually, I don't have any questions, but you know what? That could be an interesting one.
Yeah, could you tell me a bit more about the MGRS?
Yeah, sure, I'd be happy to. I'm guessing you don't use it too much in the civilian side, so you may have got a little bit rusty on that front. I'll actually take this opportunity and we'll go over two systems, UTM and MGRS. So UTM is a grid square 100 by 100 kilometers across and consists of a number from 1 to 60 and a letter. It wasn't precise enough for our needs though, so MGRS was introduced. The way MGRS works is pretty straightforward. The first set of digits determines how far the chosen point is to the east from the southwestern corner of the UTM grid square. The second set is how far north it is. So a full 10-digit coordinate has 1 meter precision. Now that's close enough to confidently put a JDAM on target without ever having seen it. Pretty cool, eh?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Thanks for the explanation.
And how about the different speeds?
I'd appreciate going through differences between ground, true, and indicated speed once again.
Okay, so in order to fully explain this, we first need to do some math with lots of brackets and square roots. But I'll try to do this in a simplified way. Indicated airspeed, or IAS, is the speed reading uncorrected for instrument position and other errors. Basically, it's your pitot tube reading, and it's usually calibrated to reflect the pressure at sea level.
That's
Now,
the pitot
true
tube.
airspeed is the actual speed of air going over
At
the
least
wings of
one.
the aircraft.
I think there's
Now, in order to
some
get
more.
it, you take your indicated airspeed
Awesome, another one.
and add corrections for position error, instrument error, compressibility error, and density error. Finally, ground speed is your speed in relation to the ground and not the air. You get it by taking true airspeed and adding or subtracting the wind speed. Note that ground speed will be the only common reading for planes traveling at different altitudes. So if you want to synchronize your speed with other assets, use ground speed for that. Lastly, and most importantly, we use indicated airspeed for all of our performance data. So our takeoff, landing, stall, and all of your other speeds will be in terms of indicated airspeed.
Okay, I think that's okay. Enough for the lessons right now. No further questions.
I don't believe so. We can go ahead and move on.
Alright, staying on the AAP, the steer setting will give you all of the important information about your current steer point. The image in the left column shows the image, or desired magnetic heading, which is wind corrected. Below that, you will find the distance, elevation, and bearing to the steer point, which can also be changed to show the radial from the steer point on which you currently fly.
Sorry, didn't change it.
Got it.
The right column shows time to go and desired time on target. The second option is especially useful if you want to coordinate with other assets. Plan on practicing it in one of the coming sorties. If you set up a desired time on target, you will also be shown a speed required to arrive at exactly the specified time. Finally, you can see the current wind strength and direction. Have a look at it and let me know when you're ready to move on. Okay,
Let's move on.
ready to move on. Now on to the waypoint info page. Go ahead and switch your AAP page select switch to this position and let me know when you're there.
Ah, okay, that's the AAP.
So this is a handy way to display the magnetic heading, distance, and time to go to 3 different points. Top right will show that information for the currently set waypoint. Bottom right is for the anchor point, while the bottom left gives you information about the steer point. The lines on the left side allow you to select the waypoint or mark point by either entering its number or letter, or by using the scratch pad to type in the name. And that's all for the right knob. When you're ready, let me know and we'll move on to the steer point dial. Okay,
Let's move
good
on.
to go. Okay, now we will briefly cover the flight plan fundamentals. So take a look at the left selector knob on the AAP. This is known as the steer point dial, and it should be in the flight plan position. In this mode, you will see the whole flight plan displayed on the tab, with waypoints connected by a green line. These green lines connecting waypoints together are known as waypoint lines for some weird reason. You may need to decrease the scale of your TAD or zoom out to see the entire flight plan. Now, in order to do so, you first have to make it soy by long pressing the coolie hat on your throttle to the left or right, depending on which MSP is currently displaying the TAD. Or you can soy the TAD by pressing whichever OSP corresponds to where it says TAD. After you have the TAD set as soy, then press down on the data management switch, or TMS down, on the stick to increase the range and zoom out. Conversely, pressing up will decrease the range. So I'd like you to now move the zoom out on the TAD until you can see your flight plan in its entirety, and give me a heads up when you're caught up.
Got it.
Okay, I decreased the scale of the TAD to the point that I can see my entire flight plan.
Right on. The CDU will default into automatic flight plan sequencing. In this mode, the waypoints will automatically switch to the next one once you pass the previous one. There are applications where this is not desirable, and we'll go over them later on. Following so far?
Yeah, if I'm tracking, and as I understand it, in this mode, the TAD will only display waypoints that are part of the flight plan, right? Even if I have more waypoints stored in the CDU?
Exactly. Remember that the system can store up to 2,050 waypoints, with those numbered 1 through 50 called mission waypoints. The rest, numbering 51 through 2,050, are called navigation waypoints. You'll notice that part of the navigation waypoints are already assigned to airfields and cannot be edited, but we'll get back to that on tomorrow's sortie. On top of all that, we also have our mark points, which are labeled with letters. These will go from A to Z, while allowing you to use 25 of the available 26 letters. Oh, and one more thing to remember, that when in flight plan mode, you will only be able to move through the waypoints which are part of the flight plan. So you won't be able to set anything that is not in the flight plan as your steer point.
Clear on that.
Why can't you use all 26?
I didn't catch that. One more time, please.
Yeah, why can we use only 25 out of 26?
The last one
I
is
guess that I should have said you can only add up to 25 mark points manually. Mark point Zulu is set automatically as
Zulu.
a marker for the site of your last weapon deployment.
yeah, exactly.
Mark point Z is a very handy thing, but that is a lesson for another day.
Okay, copy that.
Now, if you want to display mark points, you're going to need that left selector knob in the middle position labeled, you guessed it, mark. You should not have any mark points stored in the system at this point, but we'll cover their use on another sortie, as they are mostly used for marking targets.
Alright, got it.
The third position is marked mission, and it will give you access to your entire waypoint database. Go ahead and move the switch into the mission position now, please.
Yes, done.
Done. Good. Take a look at your TAD. You'll see the green line has disappeared, and all of the mission waypoints are shown. Now, we haven't added any additional waypoints to those that were part of your original flight plan, so the total number remains the same. As you can see, the navigation waypoints are not displayed in this mode, but you can cycle through them. There are many ways to do that, but we'll use the remaining button on the AAP, which we have not covered so far, the steer point toggle switch. By pressing it up or down, you can change or select the steer steer point. Go ahead and cycle it up until you get Nellis.
Got it.
Okay, Nellis is set as my steer point now.
Word. To wrap up today's training sortie, let's talk about the HUD. Before we do that though, let's turn back towards Sally. So pull up and turn towards waypoint 4. Return to Angel 10 and let's try and keep 220 and steady speed.
(220) 10,000
Warning,
feet.
autopilot.
Heading
Feelings on
waypoint
course for Mopa and at Angel
4.
10. Let's talk about this HUD thing.
Fair enough. So I left this lesson for the end. I don't think there's a big difference between the HUD and the Alpha and Charlie, so we can go over it pretty quickly. Still, I have to go through the parts important for navigation just to be sure no stones are left unturned. So when you're ready, let's do it.
Let's get me on course for waypoint 4 first. And once we've got that, there you go. There's waypoint 4. I think die 500 Fuß, 600 Fuß Differenz. Glaube ich, machen den Kohl jetzt auch nicht fett. Autopilot an. Na? Autopilot an und los geht's.
2 is ready.
Alright, here we go. First, let's talk about the total velocity vector, or TVV, which looks like a circle with 3 lines extending outward. It shows the aircraft's inertial velocity vector, or, using English, the point towards which the aircraft is heading, in this other name, flight path marker.
Copy. I'm aware of both names for it.
Good deal. Then you probably already also know that in windy conditions, and especially with a high crosswind component, the TVV may skew to one side of the HUD. This is completely normal, and it tells you this plane is not going in the direction which the nose is pointing.
Yeah, copy.
Was praktisch ist.
Okay, the flight path ladder and heading tape do not need any further explanation. On the left you can see your airspeed, which depending on the settings can be displayed as indicated. Ground speed, indicated by a letter G, or true airspeed, which will have a letter T displayed next to it. Now on the right side of the HUD you'll see the barometric altitude in feet. In nav and air-to-air mode it will also show you the uncorrected CACD reading. In CCIP and CCRP modes it will be corrected for installation errors, non-standard temperatures, and non-standard pressures, and may be different to what the cockpit altimeter shows. Below it you'll find a flight path angle which shows you the rate of descent or ascent in degrees. Further below that you will find the radar altimeter which shows the exact altitude over the ground up to 5,000 feet.
Ja, da wir im
If
Moment
you're
höher
higher, it will
sind.
just display 4 X's. Any questions?
Keine Fragen. Aber wir können ja mal gucken. Switch Master Modes, das ist immer eine schöne Frage.
You mentioned different master modes. How do you switch between those?
Okay, when you get these switches set to the on position, you can cycle through the 5 different master HUD modes using the master mode control button on the stick. These are nav for navigation, gun, CCIP, and CCRP release modes, and finally air-to-air. The last one is enabled when you hold the button for a few seconds.
Keine weiteren Fragen.
Ready to move on.
Okay, with speed and altitude covered, we need to move on. Make sure you're in nav mode if you would, please. Your steer point is shown as a small square on your HUD. You'll also notice that there is a line extending from the TVV towards it. If the steer point is outside of the HUD field of view, the designation cue will change. Go ahead and
Warning,
turn 90
autopilot.
degrees to the left and observe the marking on your HUD, and let me know what you can see.
Mit 90 Grad, okay.
The steer point square now has a number above and below it, and it's just sitting on the side of the HUD. And the line coming out of the box is now attached to the TVV.
Yep. Okay, that line is pointing in the direction towards the steer point off of the TVV. This line is known as the C line. It is worth noting that the C line is not exclusive to the TVV and steer point, but that's a lesson for another time. Okay, so the box that is nailed to the side of the HUD is showing you which side of the jet the steer point is on. The number at the top is how many degrees off that side the steer point is, and the bottom number represents how many miles you are away from that steer point. So for instance, if that box was on the right side of my HUD and had a 120 on top and 13 below, I'd know that the steer point is off by 4 o'clock and 13 miles behind me. Okay, return to course now please, and let me know when we can continue.
Wieder zurück auf Kurs.
2's on course.
Good. On to the final part. So some more information can be found in the bottom right corner of the HUD pertaining to our steer point. And that's going to be just below the radar altimeter. The first line shows the steer point number and ID. As I've told you before, numbers from 1 to 50 are reserved for mission waypoints. 51 to 2050 are for navigation waypoints, and letters A to D are for mark points. And the ID is going to be whatever you've named that waypoint, like Vincent, IP, or whatever, okay?
Yep, copy that.
Wegpunkt 4, X-Ray.
The second line shows distance, steer point, and target elevation. The first part is self-explanatory. The second one we'll cover in detail during weapons training, but for now, it's showing the elevation source as DCS. We can manually input our target's elevation, which will be displayed instead of DCS. Alright. The third line shows you time to go and time on target delta. Time to go simply shows how long it will take you to arrive at the steer point with your current speed.
5 minutes.
Time on target delta will only work if you have set the desired time on target, which is something we're going to be covering tomorrow.
Looks like tomorrow's sortie will be pretty intensive.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll do a lot of practical exercises. On the ground, you'll build your own flight plan, and then in the air, we'll practice chasing waypoint attributes, creating new waypoints and mark points, changing anchor points, and using the desired time on target function.
I can't wait.
Sounds good.
Just make sure you're well prepared and read all the operating manuals for navigation, okay?
Yeah, copy.
Okay, the last line shows the current time, but it can also be used for a time hack. It is a good way to synchronize actions with other assets and may be used in combination with desired time on target or separately. However, it's a bit counterintuitive when you use it for the first time, so let's go through the process before trying it out. Ready?
Okay, sure. Go ahead.
Alright, I'm ready.
We will do a 1-minute hack, so press the hack button once and type 0100 on your keypad, then press enter on your USB. Once you do that, press hack again to return to normal mode. The system will now remember the last value you put in, so if you press the hack button again, it will show it on the HUD and immediately start counting down in the background. time, you should press enter. If you want to start over, press hack again. Are you following?
Nope, sorry. What? The hack button? What the heck is the hack button? Mark, backspace, clear. Ha. Clear. Mouth, waypoint, MSM mark. Ach, da ist der Hack-Button. Okay. Das soll er bitte nochmal erklären.
Could you repeat the last part for me, please?
So a 1 minute hack. So press the hack button once and type 0100 on your keypad. And press enter on your USB. Once you do that, press hack again to return to normal mode. The system will now remember the last value you put in, so if you press the hack button again, it will show it on the HUD and immediately start counting down in the background. For the remaining time, you should press enter. If you want to start over, press hack again. Are you following?
Hmm. $20. Ich glaube ja.
Yep, go on.
Okay, when I say hack, just press the hack button once, then enter to see the remaining time. Give it a try a couple of times and let me know when you're ready.
Hack 0 2 2 2 0 0 0 enter input code. Okay, clear. 0 2 0 0 enter. Hack. Hack 0 4 clear 0 2 4 0 enter. Hack is 1 0 3 0 enter. Hack. I don't have any clue what's going on.
Okay, good to go.
Alright, 3, 2, 1, hack. Okay, when we get to 0, I will change the formation to trail, meaning that I'll go behind you, okay?
Sounds fun.
now.
Ah, okay.
Alright, to return to normal mode, press the hack button again. Hey, good job today, Kermit. Alright, time to go home.
Hey Biff, when we were going through the HUD, you said that you've been told that there was no big difference between the A and the Charlie. So, have you not flown on the A's before?
Negative. I started with Charlie here in Nellis when they were testing them. Took a couple of experienced alpha drivers, but also some of the new pilots.
Yeah, I know they were tested in Nevada. I also heard a lot about the A+.
Yeah, I heard that as well. Some kind of project going on in parallel with Charlie. It's started by the National Guard, right?
Hey, firm. It's a longer story, though.
Hold that thought. I need to clear us out of this airspace. Stand by one. Blackjack, double one is west of Mopa, looking to exit the training area and join the approach for Nellis.
Channel 1, exit via X-ray. Contact approach at 291.725.
Exit through X-ray and contact approach, double one. Okay, Kermit, make sure to tell me all about the A+ at Charlie one day. Not now,
Warning,
though. We're coming
autopilot.
up to Mopa. Hey, since you're in a flight lead position, I want you to take over comms with Nellis, alright? Also, it looks like approach is going to have us shooting single ship approaches as SOP from now on, so anticipate them having you drop me off at the truck stop for the rest of our time here. Cool?
Sure, happy to do so. And copy about the approach procedure. Let me check the current ATIS, and then let's contact approach. Let me know when you're ready.
Raj. Standing by on approach.
Wind 028 and 10.
One copies.
Visibility greater than 10 miles. Clear. Temperature 26. Dew point 13. Altimeter 2959. Runway 03 left. 21 left. Expect visual approach. Acknowledge receipt of information like an advised aircraft type on first contact. Nellis Air Force Base information light. Time 0155. Wind 028 and 10. Visibility greater than 10 miles. Clear. Temperature 26. Dew point 13. Altimeter 2959. Runway 03 left. 21 left. Expect visual approach. Acknowledge receipt of information like an advised aircraft type on first contact.
Das war Approach. Approach hatte ich auf 4 gesetzt.
Time 0155.
Approach Devil 1 west of Moapa inbound for landing with information mic.
Devil 1 approach. Radar contact. Continue inbound. Expect a visual for 21 left.
Continue inbound for runway 21 left, Devil 1.
Devil 1-2, enter a right-hand orbit over the truck stop spacing.
Approach, double 1-2 copies, anchored over the truck stop, right-hand orbit.
Ah, nicht wir. Das ist Devil 1-2.
Devil 1, contact tower. Devil 1, descend and maintain 5,000.
Descend and maintain 5. Roger, contact tower for Devil 1. See ya.
Tower ist 3.
Nellis Tower, Devil 1-1, runway 21 left, full stop.
Devil 1-1, wind is 028 for 10, check landing gear, clear to land, runway 21 left.
Cleared to land, 21 left, Devil 1-1.
Upsi. Fahrwerk. Und Flaps. Ja, das sieht doch gut aus. Bisschen zu schnell. So ist gut. Landungen sind tatsächlich irgendwie immer spannend, weil
Altitude, altitude.
es ist einfach nicht so einfach. Hier, das Flugzeug verhält sich irgendwie anders. Grundsätzlich ist es ähnlich, wie man es fliegen würde, aber beispielsweise jetzt die A10 zur F18 ganz anders. Throttle to idle, slightly flaring, touchdown.
Okay, I'm safe on the deck.
Raj, taxi it back to Thunder and I'll catch up with you there. Devil 1-1, contact ground on 257.8.
Roger, contacting ground on 257.8. Devil
Oh,
1-1.
nose down.
Nellis Tower, Devil 1-2 on final for runway 21, full stop.
Und brakes.
Devil 1-2, Windstar 028 for 10. Check landing gear. You're clear to land runway 21 left. Clear to land 21 left, Devil 1-2.
Nellis ground, Devil 1-1, vacating 21 left via Alpha.
Devil 1-1, taxi Alpha, Golf, Charlie for Thunder.
Taxi Alpha, Golf, Charlie for Devil 1-1.
Okay, 1, proceed with the after landing then shutdown procedure. Good job today. Make sure you get ready for tomorrow's sorties. We'll cover a lot of practical stuff.
Roger, can't wait.
That's the spirit. Okay, that's it for today. Thanks, Kermit. Oh, one more thing. We need to knock out your ILS stuff, and weather is saying we may get some nasty in the coming days. If we get some soup, expect to scrub whatever we have planned to take advantage of that rare non-sunny day for your ILS stuff.
Yeah, see you, boss. And thanks.
So, also diesmal vernünftig gelandet, nicht das Fahrwerk kaputt gemacht. Maschine noch heil, können also auch beim nächsten Mal wieder starten. Brauchen keine neue Maschine. Ich glaube, beim letzten Mal war der Crew Chief nicht ganz so begeistert von uns. Da vorne dürfte Devil 1-2 sein. So. Hier rechts müsste dann unser Parking Spot gleich sein. Nevada ist tatsächlich schon irgendwie eine schöne Karte, wenn man sich überlegt. Die Karte gab es damals dazu, als die A10 rausgekommen ist, mit der A10, wenn man es im Early Access, glaube ich, gekauft hat. Und das war vor über 10 Jahren. Wenn ich mich richtig erinnere, müsste das irgendwann so um 2011 gewesen sein, glaube ich, wo die A10 rausgekommen ist. Ich glaube sogar, es könnte sogar sein, dass es sogar noch früher war. Und wenn man sich anguckt, wie die Karte heute aussieht, das ist schon toll. Es war immerhin die zweite Karte nach Kaukasus. Und ja, das ist natürlich, es ist eine Wüstenkarte, da passiert nicht viel. Ich glaube, es ging vor allem darum, damals irgendwie eine gewisse Performance hinzubekommen. Was mit dem Buddy da? Steht der auf meinem Parking-Spot? Sieht gerade so ein bisschen so aus. Und Brake Set. Nose for steering off. Right engine off. Machen wir einfach mal alle Gerätschaften aus. Wobei Funkgeräte können wir mal eben noch anlassen. So. Das war's für heute. Das war die zweite Mission der Iron Flag Kampagne von Baltic Dragon. Immer noch eine schöne Trainingsmission, macht Spaß und Wenn ihr sie auch noch haben wollt, aktuell gibt es noch einen Sale von Eagle Dynamics, gibt es für ein bisschen mehr als $7. Ich glaube, das lohnt sich. Allein was da an Arbeit drin steckt mit den ganzen Voice-Kommentaren und der Arbeit, die hier drin steckt, das wirklich alles so perfekt und realistisch zu machen, ist einfach wahnsinnig beeindruckend. Ich werde sie auf jeden Fall weiterspielen, freue mich schon auf die dritte Mission, für die wir ja heute schon einen Teaser bekommen haben, auch die darauf folgenden. Das soll es gewesen sein für heute. Tschüss, Jack Jacke, und wir sehen uns beim nächsten Mal.